Hi, everybody. It's your girl, UC Jenny. Long time, long time, long time. So, if you're coming across my channel for the first time, I urge you to please subscribe, like, comment, share, because if you do all that interaction, it kind of pushes out my content to the greater, audience. So, thank you so much to my returning subscribers. I really do appreciate you. So, what am I going to talk about today? As I've always said, I like to bring content that would be beneficial to a lot of us. And I'm Nigerian and I'm an immigrant in the UK. So there's been a lot going on in terms of immigration rules changing, the almighty white paper that's been released, and everybody's becoming jittery and worried as to what's going to become their fate. Those that are planning on coming, what are they expecting? So the purpose of this video is just to kind of like summarize the white paper, how it's going to impact us as immigrants and even intending immigrants, and the reason why that white paper was actually made in the first instance. So there's been some sort of analysis that's been done and studies in terms of net immigration in the UK. And the result has now shown that there has been a massive increase in net immigration in the UK. So compared to in 2010, 11, 12, it was really constant as to having about maybe 200k immigrants in the UK in a year and all of that. So they noticed there was an increase from 2020. And what happened was, again, this graduate route was reintroduced. Because if you guys recall, sometime in 2012, immigration route was stopped. Meaning, if you come into the UK to do your master's, for example, as soon as you finish your studies, you're going back to your country. After you've only got 3 months to tidy up on other stuff that you've got going on, and then you're back to your country. So you're not given an opportunity to sit back and, get a job, gain work experience and all of that. You just expected to leave the country immediately. But that was reintroduced in 2020. So there's been a massive increase. So they said as of 2023, there was about nearly 1 million immigrants in the UK. Now, this is taking a toll on so many of their systems. For example, NHS. Even those of us that have been in UK for a long time, to get appointments, for critical issues, it takes a long time. So according to them, they don't have the facilities. They don't have the capability to be able to cater to all these number of people that are coming into the UK, which is understandable. And again, another thing they didn't mention was the abuse of the system. If you recall, a couple of years ago, there was an opportunity for people to come in as care workers. So it was called care visa or something like that, where people were given sponsorship to come in and work in the care industry, because there was some kind of reduction in the, people that work in that industry. So they opened up their border to allow people come in and help. Again, that was abused. There was a case of people having to pay money. Now, it's a free thing. The sponsorship is supposed to be free. But there was some documentary by BBC on people that came from Africa, particularly Nigeria, Ghana, and some of these West African countries, where people were paying so much. They were paying millions to get those, COS, which is certificate of some sponsorship, to come to the UK. And then some of them arrive in the UK. What happens? There is no job for them to do. So they are wandering around looking for another sponsorship. They don't want to return to their country. So it was becoming so much of a burden on the system. So the whole point is for them to restore control of the immigration system. And the Prime Minister also wants a situation where immigration rules, admitting people into the country and removing people from the country is within the purview of the Home Office. So you don't have to go through all those rigmarole, going to the court if you want to remove somebody from the country, all those cumbersome, procedures. They want to take it out. So they want to be able to put all that into the jurisdiction of the Home Office, meaning Home Office can decide, we're removing you from the country today. These are the rules that you've breached and all of that, and off you go. You don't have to go to any court. You don't have to start applying for some kind of leave of court or any of those stuff. So that's what they're trying to see, a way they can control immigration. Now, The prime minister also wanted to address, the failure of previous immigration policies that have been put in place. Again, it all boils down to abuse. Now, the purpose of this video is to kind of like talk to people that are intending to come to the UK and people that are already in the UK. Now, people that are already in the UK, they are more concerned about that rule that have been put in the white paper. There's now going to be an increase in your stay in the UK. Now, a lot of people are here on a 5-year route, meaning you would have stayed in the UK for 5 years before you can get your indefinite leave to remain, meaning settlement. You've got a settlement status. So you can now say you are a resident of the UK. You're a permanent resident of the UK. Some people are also on the 10-year route. But a lot more people are on the 5-year route, meaning as soon as you've done 5 years, you can apply for your indefinite leave to remain and you're settled. And as soon as you get your indefinite leave to remain, if you're married to a British citizen, you can immediately apply for citizenship. If you're not, you have to wait for another 1 year to apply for your citizenship. If you have a settled status, it then means you're entitled to make claims. A lot of people that are immigrants have got that caveat on their residence permit that says you've got no recourse to public fund. But as soon as you've got a settled status, it just means you can now claim public funds. So why do they want to extend the duration of stay before you can qualify to even apply for your indefinite leave to remain, which is called, in short, indefinite leave to remain. So they're saying a lot of people do not contribute to the UK economy, meaning you're a low income earner. You've not earned a lot. Now, people that contribute more to the economy are people that are high income earners, people that are in graduate roles, meaning the possibility or the chances of you earning more is high than if you're like in a lesser skilled job. You're on a more like you've got customer service roles or care job where you get paid minimum wage. You don't contribute much to the economy. So they're looking at it in that way, like it's going to now be based on what is called a point-based system, meaning they're going to check what your contribution is. So the fact they said it's going to be 10 years doesn't mean everybody's going to stay here for 10 years before you can get your indefinite leave to remain. There will be a system that will be put in place. All that is still being processed, where the Home Office is now going to go into that system to see your work history, what you've been doing, what your earnings are, how much you've contributed, what you're doing generally to improve the UK economy. That's why they've now said that indefinite leave to remain is not a right, it's a privilege. So it is them that will determine whether you're qualified for that privilege or not. So you don't get it as of right, the fact that you stay there for 5 years, 10 years. So it might even mean that some people might stay longer before they get it. So it's all up in the air. Nobody's sure of what's going on. So it's always important for you to recognize that the fact they said it's 10 years doesn't necessarily mean it must be 10 years. Some people might get up to 10 years and then you apply for it and they check in the system. They go, you're not qualified yet because you've not contributed blah, blah, blah to the economy, or your points are not up to a certain level, so you're not qualified. Now, what do? You have to sit back and continue toiling, And again, I also feel the fact that you're not a resident, a permanent resident, really doesn't take away so many things from you, because there are people that have been in this country for a couple of years. They've not claimed any public fund. They've bought their homes. They are doing well, So why do you really need that at the end of the day? I appreciate, you want to be able to get that passport and all of that, but eventually you're going to get it. So it shouldn't be a showstopper for you, especially if you're here for genuine reasons, if you get what I mean. Now, this video would be more interesting to those that are planning on coming into the UK. It's important for you to know these things, right? There is a plan in place for them to reduce. So if you're coming in, most people I know from Africa, from other parts of from the world that are immigrating to the UK are coming through the student visa route. You're coming in as a student. Now, you come in as a student at the moment, as soon as you graduate, that graduate route gives you access to 2-year post-study visa, meaning for 2 years, you're expected to get into a graduate role and start earning good money and start contributing to the society, to the UK economy, right? Positively. Now, what's happened, according to their research, is that a lot of people come in, they don't get the graduate role, the basis for which they've been given that post-study visa. Some of them are on low-skilled jobs. They are not earning a lot. They are there in the country. And then when these things are about to expire, they're looking for another sort of sponsorship for them to remain behind in the UK and then do the 5 years and then get their indefinite leave to remain. So they're saying this is no longer acceptable. So for starters, they are looking to reduce it from 24 months to 18 months. That's what they're trying to do. So they're trying to reduce the number of months you get after graduation, meaning you have to double your hustle. So if you're not able to get that number of, get that job that you're looking for that will make you qualified to even stay or to extend your visa, or a company that has sponsored you, it means at the expiration of your 18 months, you go back to your country. Now, a lot of people that are coming to study in the UK, most times they're not coming to finish their studies and go back to their countries. They're coming to study and then, sit back and see what is available for them. They look for job, they want work experience, they want to earn more, they want a better life and all that. Now, with this in place, it then means it's going to be tougher for you to enjoy those benefits that were available before. I also want to put a caveat here. We do not know when all this is going to be put in motion, right? Nobody knows. Nobody is sure of what the plan is. We also don't know if this is going to have a retrospective effect, meaning those that have been in the UK, they might want to apply for their indefinite leave to remain and they are told, oh, the point-based system is now in place. You're not qualified. You have to stay longer. Nobody is sure when this is going to take effect. And also, it's important to also say that there are other things that are still going to expand upon. There are other areas of immigration they said before the end of the year, they would have released white paper on, just to give more clarity. For example, dependent visa. It's very important to also note that they are looking to increase the salaries or the earnings of people that are looking to bring their dependents into the UK. Say, for example, you have your spouse here in the UK, and you guys are making plans for you to come over to join your spouse in the UK. The country would then, the Home Office would now have to look at the earnings of the person, the resident here in the UK. Have you earned enough? Do you have enough resources to cater to somebody that's coming into the UK? Right? Another thing they've also put in place is your English proficiency. So they're saying there are people that come into the UK that do not know how to speak English. And because you do not know how to speak English or you do not understand it, the chances of you getting a job that would contribute meaningfully to the economy is very slim. So they're saying they would now include the dependents to be able to get that English test done. So you must have your proficiency to a certain level before they can even grant you any visa. Okay, so it's good to have that at the back of your mind in terms of those that are looking to join their spouses here in the UK. It's important to know that. Another important thing for you to note for the students. Hello, my lovely, lovely international students. Do you know what? The studies has also shown that last year, international students contributed about 10 billion, or is it 10 billion or 18 billion? 18 billion pounds to the UK economy just by your tuition. So imagine that. So you see, international students are very, very, very important to the UK economy because international students pay so much in their tuition. And in addition to that, your accommodation, you're paying for your accommodation and all of that. So it's a lot of money that the UK government is enjoying from the international students. Now, what do you get in return if you're planning to come to the UK as an international student and you're looking to stay behind to get work experience and all of that? What do you get? So it's important for you to think about all of this before you put in all that money into the system. And at the end of your studies, you're having to go back because you've not got the opportunity to gain any work experience. 2 years is damn too small. I tell you, People that get the post-study, 2 years post-study, I know a lot of them that their 2 years post-study is about to expire and they have not got any job, any graduate job that would keep them in the country. So most of them are planning on going back. What some people did earlier was to move to the care sponsorship. I know a couple of people that did that before their post-study expired. When they knew it was looking like they weren't going to get any job that would keep them in the country, most of them went into care, which is the abuse of the system that the Home Office is looking to curtail. They do not want you to move from your graduate route to care route. Now, care is a lesser skilled job. So you're a graduate, you've got post-study, a certificate, and now you're going to care. They don't want that. They want you to remain in a graduate role, which is the reason why they've given you that post-study visa. So they're trying to cut out all of this. They're trying to reduce net migration to the UK. So it's important for you to always reassess and think and see if another country may be beneficial to you rather than coming to the UK. I appreciate UK is a better place for a lot of people in terms of proximity to your home country. You can easily travel back and all of that, and then a lot of people have their family members here. They just want to stay close to family, but they're shutting down their border. Know that UK is shutting down their border. So you might pay £30,000 for your post-study studies, your university fees, your tuition and all of that. Some of you pay as high as 35 grand in a year, which is crazy, right? And then you've invested so much of that, your money, and at the end of the day, you're having to return to your country because you haven't got any job. Trust me, a lot of people that have been here for a while haven't got the kind of job that they need to get to be able to remain in the country, let alone you that is just coming in and haven't got any UK experience. It's important. I told you in this channel, I'm going to keep it, straight with you. No hanky-panky, no, faffing around or telling you things that are not real. I'm here to keep it real with you. So it's good for you to consider all of this before you put in your money into any higher education, postgraduate studies and all of that in the UK. Yes. So also another thing is the care workers. Hello. If you in any of these, African countries or even not African country, any other country, and you're thinking the COS, the certificate of sponsorship for care work is still available to you, it has been shut down. UK government has said that people that are living outside the UK can no longer come into the UK to do any care work. Okay? It's important you know that as well. You're not allowed to come into the UK, so do not be deceived. Do not listen to anybody that is going to tell you, I've got a certificate of sponsorship, pay this amount of money, I'll be able to get you in. It's a scam. It's been shut down. That route has been shut down. It's only available to people that are currently residing in the UK, that have got their COS or something has happened. They are no longer unable to, they're not able to continue with that role with the particular company that sponsored them. They can now switch to another company. So priority is given to those already residents here in the UK and no longer, people that are outside the UK. So it's important for you to know that as well. Let your family members know, people that think that they can still come in here to do care work, that has been shut down. That ship has sailed. Okay. What other thing do I need to mention? Now, for student visa, if you've got you've been given an offer for a graduate studies here in the UK, the Home Office or the white paper has said they're going to start assessing the universities again. So meaning you may be offered, they might make you an offer to say, oh yeah, you've been admitted to study this, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, they might withdraw it because UK government is now putting their searchlight on these universities because again, the studies have shown that there has been more increase from lower universities meaning it's the lower and low-ranked universities that are getting all these immigrants into the country. So they're offering them some of these, courses that make no sense as far as the Home Office is concerned. So why would somebody leave their country to come to another country to study business administration? It doesn't make sense to them, stuff like that. So those are the kind of things they're looking to do. So there's something called basic compliance assessment, which applies to these universities. So they've also said they are looking to increase the compliance level by another 5%. So there's something called visa refusal rates. Prior to this white paper, the visa refusal rate for a particular university must be less than 10%. And then their course enrollment rate must be at least 90%. And then their course completion rate must be at least 85%. So they said they're going to increase that by 5%, meaning their course enrollment rate must be 95%, and then their course completion rate must be 90%. Because there has also been issues where people come into the university and are rusticated on the grounds of, some kind of plagiarism. That's the most common one I know. I know a couple of people that have been, told that they could no longer continue with their course because they've plagiarized in their courseworks. It's important for you to know that plagiarism is a very serious offense in the UK. You can lose your opportunity to remain in that university on account of that. You're asked to leave immediately and her Home Office is notified. So universities would now have that responsibility of making sure that people complete their courses, because if there is any kind of less than 95% of completion of courses, then that university might lose their right to be able to recruit students into the UK. And they don't want to do that because, again, these universities need international students. They do. Because international students are the people that are actually even keeping those universities alive. You heard how much I said international students contributed to the economy last year? 18 billion pounds. Think about that. That's a lot of money. Also, what the Home Office is looking to do is to apply some sort of levy on these tuitions that have been paid by national students on these universities. So this levy would then make the universities to contribute a certain amount to the government towards education. Now, what usually happens when there is a levy, somebody else will be made to be responsible for it, meaning there would be increase in fees. Are you able to throw away those thousands of pounds without any guarantees that you're going to stay behind and get some sort of work experience or even have the opportunity of residing in that country? Think about that before you put your money in. So I'm not saying you shouldn't come to UK to study. I'm only saying you need to consider all of this before you come to UK, because a lot of you are looking to come in, study, get a job, get your families over. It's going to be tougher down the line. They're going to tighten up. Again, there is also sayings that by the end of the year, they're going to bring in a lot more rules around bringing dependents into the UK. So imagine you're in a country where you can't have your spouse with you or you can't have your children with you. What's the essence of living in that country? So think about it. UK is shutting the economy down, proper shutting it down. So think about it before you make any decisions of coming to UK to study. Because most of the immigrants I know have come in via student visa, and they've now, gone ahead to do greater things and have, become just good, generally good people. One other thing before I finish is for you to understand that UK is now taking offenders seriously. So if you're an immigrant and you're an offender, you're just a terrible person, all you think about is committing a crime. Chances are you'll be thrown out of the country immediately. They do not have time to entertain your madness. They don't want people to come into their country and mess it up. They don't want that at all. So if you know you've got bad character or you're prone to breaking rules anywhere you go, don't just bother coming, because they do not want you in their country. There are a lot of you that come in here and you're chatting younger children, younger adults, small, you go online, you're chatting to people and you're talking to children. It's an offense. It's a crime. It's a crime. And any crime that will get you in a sex offenders register, you're out. completely out. So do not come into the country and start to mess up the image of the country and the image of the country you've come from. It's wrong. It's wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. Okay? So I think that's it. I think I've covered everything I wanted to talk to you about. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Are you considering on coming to the UK to study? Do you think you'll be able to get a chance to remain in the UK after your studies with all these changes in the pipeline? Let me know. Are you still hell-bent on coming to the UK? Are you considering other countries that might be lenient in terms of people, finishing their studies and remaining in their country? Let me know, okay? I hope you enjoyed this conversation we just had. I tried as much as I can to keep it simple and not make it very, complicated and stuff. Just things that you can relate with and things that I know a lot of people are worried about. So just let me know what your thoughts are. Again, like, comment, share, and hit the notification bell for any of my more videos that will be released. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. And thank you for subscribing as well. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.